Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, you're probably here because you want to find out more about the iKamper Skycamp 2.0 and what it is like to use, as well as pros and cons about the rooftop tent. So welcome to the channel, and let me go over my experience with the iKamper Skycamp 2.0 rooftop tent in the last 6 months and what I've noticed as pros and cons and room for improvement for that rooftop tent. As well as the one thing that I noticed the majority of the people who get the iKamper talk about as a room for improvement on that tent. So for the sake of transparency, I would like to tell you that I have been provided the iKamper rooftop tent up front through Big Tent Outdoors, as I have partnered with that company for the iKamper as well as their Claymore lights. Now, as if you've been a follower of my channel for a while, you'll know that the only time I decide to partner up with a company in terms of any kind of sponsorship or ambassadorship is if I understand that the company and or the product is high in quality, reliable, and is worth a time to look at and to spend the time and money in investing to enhance the outdoor experience. But if you've been a follower, you will also know that I have no issues with telling my honest opinions and giving honest feedback in the products that I use. So let's go over the easy stuff first. So the pros of the iKamper rooftop tent, in this case the Skycamp 2.0. So in the last 6 months, I've used the rooftop tent in a variety of terrain and conditions. So we've used it in wet conditions, dry conditions, snowy conditions, pretty much everything that you can think of. Along with that, before I used the iKamper rooftop tent, I've had other tents from other companies as well as truck bed tents and ground tents. So my pros and cons may be different from yours, and this is just based on my experience and my opinion only. So what I consider pros may be cons to you, and what I consider cons may be pros to you. So with that said, let me go over the first thing. So the first thing is, compared to every other tent system that I've used for shelter, the iKamper Skycamp 2.0 is super quick and easy to set up. It takes me literally less than a minute to get it from the closed position to the open position. Now, other tents that I've used, you've had to unzip a cover or put poles together and put it all together, and that took extra time. The reason why quick setup and breakdown is key for me in my experience is that I like to go camping year round. And that means sometimes I'll be camping when it's snowing or raining or windy. And if you ever camped in the rain or in snow, you definitely understand that time is of the essence. You don't want to be out there longer than you should, breaking down or setting up camp. And this iKamper, it was so easy. You just unlock the latches, open it up, and pull out the ladder. And same thing with breaking down. Sometimes when we break down, sometimes when we go to camp, thinking that it's gonna be dry, we'll have unexpected rain and it's really cold in the morning or wet, and breaking down tent is something that you don't want to take too much time doing. Second pro in this tent is the locking feature of the tent. Now they have 2 different locations where you can lock the tent. The first one is on the mounting brackets. So where the tent goes on the mount, whether it's a roof rack or a bed rack or wherever you mount it, you can actually lock them in place so that, let's say if you go somewhere and you park it and let's say you have full time, like for myself, I have my rooftop tent on my rack full time, which means if I want to go hiking, backpacking, or wherever I go, or even in the city, I will have to leave the rooftop tent on my rig, sometimes overnight or multiple nights. The second place of locking mechanism is on the rooftop tent shell itself. So when you do close the rooftop tent, you can do the straps and lock it in place. So let's say, again, if you're parked somewhere and someone wanted to camp in the tent overnight while you were gone away from your rig, they would not be able to open that shell. The last pro is that it finds a perfect combination between packing up small to also being roomy inside once you do set up camp. So the way it is designed, although it doesn't have as much room as like a complete fold out tent, it does have a portion of the space where it folds out where the ladder is attached, which gives you that extra space. So you can say that it's safely about the size of a king size air mattress. So for myself, my wife, and our dog, it's plenty of room. We feel like we can actually add another person in there, or maybe 2 small kids, or half a dog, or something like that. So those are the pros based on our experience so far. Also, in the course of the last 6 months, we've noticed that whether it's a windy situation or rainy situation, it's never leaked inside the tent. We've never really had condensation issues. I know some people do, but when we've camped, we haven't had any condensation issues that we ran into. I think most of the time it's because when we are in environments where condensation is a possibility, I do crack open the windows. And aside from that, the other pro is that it's just a beautiful design. If you look inside the tent, it does have a nice world map on the wall of the tent, as well as just the color scheme, as well as the, as you can say, curb appeal of the tent when it's camped up, when it's propped up. We've had some times where we're camped somewhere and people will pass by and ask what kind of tent it is and just start asking about it. So it is a conversation starter in that aspect as well. But with that said, let's go into the cons. Things that I've noticed that could potentially turn some people off, or things that could be improved on the tent. First of all, because of the size of the tent, we have the Skycamp 2.0, which is a 3 to 4 person tent. So with any shelter or rooftop tent that is that size, that can accommodate that many people, it is not going to be light. In our case, this tent is about 160 pounds. So the weight of it, just like many other tents of that size, it can affect gas mileage, as well as when you set up, when you load the tent onto the rig or take it off, you will need an extra hand to do that. Now, another con is that with anything of quality, now build quality is something that is irrefutable in this iKamper tent. If you look at any of the reviews, majority of the times you will see that people praise the build quality of this tent. Now, if you get something of high quality and something that is reliable and something that you know is going to last a while, it is going to come at a cost. So this tent, compared to a lot of the rooftop tents, is on the pricier side. But if you look at anything high-end or high-end rooftop tents or any high-end gear, you will definitely pay a premium. Now, the final item, which has created some controversy in the community of people who own iKamper tents. The one common thing that a lot of people say they wish was improved on the iKamper Skycamp 2.0 is that the mattress on it is relatively thin. So a lot of side sleepers would have issues with their shoulders falling asleep, or even back sleepers not feeling too comfortable with it. But at the same time, there are some people who do say that it is comfortable enough, but it is outweighed by the number of people who say they are not. Now, with that said, I'd like to get into a little bit about the culture of Korea, where the iKamper Skycamp 2.0 was made and created. Now, in Korea, the sleeping situation is slightly different, and what is considered comfortable in that country is very different from what is considered comfortable out of the States. So in Korea, sleeping on the floor is not uncommon. So you will see, even if you watch like Korean dramas or things like that, you will notice that a lot of times people will set up their sleeping arrangement on the floor, just put like a little comforter sheet down and sleep on the hard wooden floor. Now, they even make beds that are pretty much just made out of a block of wood, and people just sleep on that as well. So with that said, something like a spring mattress is not considered something too common in that culture. And I believe that is what influenced the design of the mattress in the rooftop tent for the iKamper. But I do want to share with you guys, there are 2 possible solutions for this. For myself and Katie, because I'm a side sleeper sometimes, and Katie is now, because she is pregnant with a baby, she is going to have to be a side sleeper as well. So with that said, what we did is we got the XPED Duo Mega Mat. So the XPED Mega Mat Duo is a self-inflating pad, which has a foam insert inside the mat, which once you open up the inflation hole, it will self-deflate self-inflate because the foam is going back to its original shape. And then after that, you just pump in a little bit of air and you're good. And it's really comfortable. Another thing is that from what I understand, iKamper is working on an improved air mattress. So that is under development as we speak and should be released sometime soon. So with that said, that is just my experience and what I've noticed as some great things and some things that can be improved on the tent. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, and I'd be more than happy to address any questions you may have. And with that said, I am also looking into experimenting with other tents as well, just to kind of do some comparison and some testing, and that will come in a future video. I hope this was an informative enough video, and this is just one of many reviews to come. If you're not subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more headed your way. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, I appreciate your company and you watching this video. And as always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you next time.